Welcome back, listeners and viewers, to another week of Deducation, Teachers Talking Terror podcast, where Mike
and Courtney
talk about scary movies. Nothing scarier than a classroom full of kids with 2 weeks to go before the end of the school year.
Oh, you're telling me.
Yeah, different ends of the spectrum. My high school kids are like, why are we doing anything? And I'm like, well, because, there's still 7% of the school year left. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure your kids are just like, they're all over the place anyway. But
they only want to be outside.
Yeah, it's so nice out.
Yeah.
So nice out. But yeah, we are back this week to talk about the movie we picked last week due to a drunken recommendation in Vegas. We're going to be watching Scott Derrickson's Black Phone, starring Ethan Hawke, and based on the short story written by Mr. Joe Hill, the son of Stephen King. Black Phone came out, 2 years ago?
I think so.
Yeah, 2021. 2021, almost 2 years ago. It was released in the United States June of last year. So Black Phone is it takes place in the late 70s in like Denver, like the Denver suburbs. I'm gonna let you take the role on this one. I'll chime in. I've got thoughts, and I'm afraid that if I get going, my thoughts will take over.
Well, when I go, I get out of line.
That's okay. Yeah, you're a little all over. It's okay.
All right, so we are, like you said, in the late 70s, where a child abductor and murderer, also known as the Grabber, has been just taking kids left and right. I mean, there's lost child posters all over.
How has this guy not been captured?
I don't know, especially with the black van.
Not only that, but
the large black van.
He apparently only abducts kids during the day in the middle of the neighborhood. Like, come on. I understand you grabbed the first kid. Nobody saw it coming. It's the first kid.
Maybe even the second.
Yeah. But at this point, he's been nabbing kids for, it looks like a couple, or at least a few months, if not a year or so. And he just kind of... he might as well have spray painted the Grabber on the side of his van. Because he looks the part. He's like he's just a magician.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like, guilty. Like, this guy is guilty AF.
100%. 100%. So we have got our two main kid characters, siblings, Finny and Gwen Blake, and they live in the suburbs with their dad, who this disturbed me.
Yeah, this was the scariest part of the movie.
This not much makes my stomach turn. I will watch people get cut open. I'll listen to bones break. The gorier, the better. But this made my stomach turn. He is a raging alcoholic, abusive, just loser dad.
Yeah.
And Finny, the little boy, he is bullied at school. I feel so bad for him. And Gwen, she's got something going on.
Yeah.
Like a sixth sense almost.
Yeah. It's like these kids are normal, except that this comes from the family of Stephen King, so somebody's got to be special.
Yep.
And it's Gwen. She, like you said, she's got the sixth sense. She could see things.
Yeah.
Are they in her dreams, or are they just visions?
Yes, in her dreams, like she had mentioned that she had a dream. Bruce, he was a teenager at the school and he had gone missing, and she had a dream that he was in this house. She just had the numbers of the house, nothing else.
Yeah, and I don't understand why. Not that there needs to be a reason. I don't understand why Finney's bullied.
I don't either, because he's a good kid.
Yeah, he's a well-behaved kid. He's a good-looking kid.
He's an athlete.
Yeah, he's athletic. He's on a team. It doesn't appear that he has a ton of friends, but he's the one guy that we do see is friends with Robin is like
scary.
He's like the bully's bully.
Yes, like you don't mess with him.
I don't understand other than, I mean, and it's not like he's living a life that these other kids want, so they bully him because he's you know, out of envy. I think he's just bullied because, well, our main character's bullied. Like, that's how we write it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he is. I mean, you mentioned Bruce. Bruce, apparently this town is big enough to have at least 2 Little League teams that play each other occasionally.
2 good ones.
2 good
as
teams,
well.
yeah.
Like, it's not split like Lewistown. You got the has and the has-nots.
It's
like it is.
Like, Finny's like... Yeah. Finny's like the best pitcher on the little like nothing lines up, and not that there's a recipe for kids that be bullied, but nothing lines up for this kid to be bullied. And so we mentioned Bruce. Bruce hits a home run off of him, and even after he hits the home run, Bruce is like, "Hey man, you almost had me. Great pitching." You know, it's like it. I don't know. It's like he gets bullied, but it's only by these 3 kids.
Yes,
and so. You almost venture like, I don't know, like, yes, it is bullying, but it's not like community bullying.
Right. I think it's just like they're like, hey, this is the kid he is a little bit smaller than them, but it's like he's the one that's not going to fight back, so let's just pick on someone to pick on someone. We need our main character to be bullied so that we can show him in a moment of weakness, so that as the movie rolls along, we could show him overcome that weakness. Yeah. And it's lazy. Yes. Is what it is. It's not very original.
And we'll get into this, but what did Finny do exactly? Like... in his survival, what did he actually do on his own? Nothing.
Nothing. I was going to say, is that a trick question? Not much?
No, not a whole lot.
No.
And so, yeah.
No.
Yeah, but Gwen has these psychic dreams.
Yes, and she, mentioned, because the detectives are at school, they're talking, hey, anyone seen Bruce after the ball game? And Gwen speaks up. Yeah. Because she's like, hey, I know something. Right.
Because I have special powers.
Yes.
I see things in my dreams, and the cops are like, okay, tell us more. Which good for them, I suppose.
Yeah, because she's the only one who knew about the previous ones as well.
Yeah, and they were even like, ooh, we've never released any of that. But at the same time, like, her mother, who is dead, also had these powers, I guess. And so I'm wondering, like, was Mom also a crime fighter? Because these detectives are totally open to whatever Gwen's telling them.
Yeah, they are.
Like, just on board, let me get my notepad and take down all of the notes.
Tell us what you know.
Child who happened to know what happened.
Yeah, exactly. And she had kind of refused to talk to them just because, like, I feel like she kind of got the hunch, because they're like, again, like, they're open for whatever, but they're also like, you knew all this stuff that we never released. Yeah. Like, so, and this part is, like I mentioned earlier, like, despite the fact that she didn't say much to them, they went to the dad's place of work, they talked to Dad about it, and he just, I mean, I don't want to say beat, but beat. Like, with a belt. I mean, she is screaming, crying, and he is just continuing to whip her with this belt, and it made my stomach turn.
She's got gumption, though. I mean, she tries to take it. At one point, she even grabs his vodka and threatens, I will break this bottle if you hit me.
Yes. And he's like, do it, and I will hit you again. Yeah. Like, I'll beat you. And he just, like, flinches at her, kind of, and she just drops it, and I was like...
Yeah. And he held his promise and just destroyed her with his belt. And it is awful. It's absolutely awful.
Yes. And so, like you had said, scariest part of the movie by far. So... little bit passes, and Robin, who we had talked about, was kind of the bully's bully.
Yeah, it's really... he's been Finny's only defense. Yeah.
He's out walking around. I feel like he's kind of the kid that takes care of himself,
Yeah.
maybe.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Probably not a whole lot at home. Like
Yes.
even though Finny and Gwen's dad is a human piece of garbage, at least he's there.
Yes.
He provide, there's food on the table. Like, but yeah, I get the
they
feeling.
have someone.
I get the feeling Robin he's School of Hard Knocks kind of lifestyle.
Fight or flight,
Yeah.
always.
And
yes.
but also with a good heart.
Yes.
Like he easily could be a bully, but he's not. But yeah, and so but I think you were getting there. Yeah, the grabber, and what may have been the coolest shot of the movie. I really was impressed with how this was shot, despite the fact with the grabber just like hanging out behind a building somewhere.
Yeah.
Like the camera's focused on Robin, and I'm making a pun here on purpose. The camera's focused on Robin as the grabber steps out of the van as Batman, basically. His cape billowing in the wind. But it's still just a really cool shot because it's kind of slow-mo, and he's back there in the bokeh, so it's nice and like out of focus and creamy, and you know what's going to happen.
Yes.
Because we've already seen Bruce kidnapped. And then that's Robin. Robin's gone.
Yep. And so a few days later, some time passes, and Finny and Gwen are walking home from school. Gwen's going to stay at her friend's house because
It's Friday night.
yeah, and that is, I feel like she spends a lot of time at her friend's house.
Well, I think
the comments.
Yeah, Friday nights because Dad probably gets paid on Fridays, which means fresh alcohol, which means she's getting hit.
Yep.
Dad doesn't do much to Finny,
No.
but it's not a thing. Dad takes it out on Gwen because Gwen is a lot like Mom, and
Yes.
Mom had these psychic dreams that led her to commit suicide.
Yes.
And so he's basically beating it out of Gwen. So Gwen just takes the weekend. I'm going to my friends, and if it's just tell Dad.
Yep.
Were you a scared kid?
Not really, no.
Okay. If multiple children in your town were abducted and kidnapped, would you have been a scared kid?
Yes.
Okay. Apparently,
Yeah.
none of the kids in this movie are.
No.
Because, and the parents aren't either.
No.
Like, kids
Go
are
ahead,
being.
do your thing.
Yeah, it's okay. Like, almost like, well, don't worry, honey. The grabber has enough kids
Yeah.
right now. Like, he
Yeah,
won't
exactly.
take you. That was a big beef for me. Is it just keeps keeps snatching these kids up, and the parents are like, whatever. Mm-hmm. You just go out and ride your bikes because it's 1978.
Yeah.
No, kids, like, the police would have things on lockdown.
Yes.
The kids would be staying, like, come on. There are 2 quality Little League teams in town. I know there's more than these 2 detectives.
Exactly.
But yet the kids you just go out. Parents don't care, kids don't care, police don't care. Mm-hmm. Grabber's having a field day.
Yeah. So as Finny's walking home alone, this clown, magician, whatever you want to call him, had dropped some of his things. And so
originally, I guess in the short story, it was a clown.
Okay.
Because this is Stephen King's kid. Mm-hmm. So of course it's a clown. But because it was so popular and successful, they changed it from a clown in this because they're like, well, we can't have Stephen King's kid have a movie out about a killer clown.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, he's older. He's dropped his stuff. Finny is a nice,
let me help you.
Child. Yeah, let me help you out. And so he's like, okay, cool. Want to see a magic trick? Thanks for helping. And the magic trick was, here, let me throw you in.
Yeah, I'm going to drug you and throw you in the back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I saw this on Silence of the Lambs, so I'm going to trick you into helping me and then throw you in the back of my van.
Yep.
And then I'm going to put you in the basement. And I have a dog, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. All this needed was Clarice. Oh, and there's somebody who knows a whole lot about what's... Oh, wait, that's the sister. She's Hannibal Lecter in this one. Yeah.
So, basement, of course, soundproofed. On the wall is this black rotary phone. Some of you high schoolers that might not know what this is.
Right.
It is a phone that actually hangs on the wall and you spin to get the numbers. I mean, they weren't around when I was born, but I do know what one is.
Yeah, if you check your phone settings, you could find the ringtone for it.
Yeah. And so Finny hears the phone ring and he answers it.
This is after the grabber had told him that phone doesn't work.
Yes. He's like, the phone, you'll think you hear it. It doesn't work.
Yeah, it hasn't worked since I was a kid. So it's like, ooh, is this his home?
Yeah, I was like, is this a little bit of, what do you call it?
Foreshadowing?
No.
Backshadowing?
Now I'm not going to be, I'll remember it later maybe. Like Munchausen kind of.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like he was kidnapped. Not Munchausen. You know what I mean.
Not really.
I'll figure it out before we're done.
It'll be real poignant then.
And so now he is hearing the phone ring. He answers it, and it is Bruce.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, when I was there, there's this tile floor in the hallway. It's loose, and you can dig to get out.
Yeah.
Okay. Like
it's not even like riddle number 1. It's literally step 1.
Yeah.
Do this. Because this ghost knew to do this.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's really it. Is Bruce who doesn't remember that he's Bruce. Like Finny is a master at recognizing voices.
Yeah, he is.
Because nobody he talks to on the phone knows who they are. Because they're ghosts.
Yeah, and they've lost that identity of them.
And so, because they're afraid they've forgotten themselves in the path of being forgotten. But Finny's like, I love this game. I know your voice because I've never talked to you before ever.
Exactly.
So he recognizes Bruce's voice, and like you said, Bruce is like, hey, the only thing I can tell you is go pull up that floor tile and dig a hole. Like,
it's not going to be obvious when the grabber comes down. Like,
no.
Dig a hole.
That's right. In this soundproof room, so you won't hear the grabber coming, which means you're lucky if he doesn't walk in on you.
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah, makes sense.
So lazy.
Police search for Finny, still coming up with nothing. The grabber now has brought Finny some food. And he leaves the basement door unlocked, which is like, awesome.
What a mistake.
Free escape.
Wow. Boy, this is really working out for him.
Yeah, it is. So he's walking to the door and gets another phone call.
Oh, man. Who's on the phone this time?
Billy.
Oh, Billy. Is he another kid that's been captured?
You better believe it. Billy made the mistake of going through that door that was unlocked.
Yeah, the grabber's just like toying with them.
Yeah, seeing if they will be good boys. And
because that's the name of the game, Good Boy.
Yeah. Are you going to be a good boy?
Okay.
So, Billy warns, who again, we didn't even meet until now, but Finny knows who it is.
Finny knows his voice. Maybe that's why Finny has no friends, is all his friends keep getting abducted.
Probably.
Because he was friends with Bruce, kinda, and he was friends with Robin. So maybe he knew, well, we know he didn't like all these kids. But luckily Billy got through to warn him in time.
Yes.
Step 2, don't go through the unlocked door. All right. Yep. Boy, this is really making it hard for Finny to escape.
Yeah. And so it shows a little flash of the grabber sitting upstairs with the belt, you know, everything that Billy had said. So now he is attempting to do what Billy said and get a cord.
Luckily there's one down there.
Yes. And get out the bars, like pull the bars off of the window downstairs in the basement. So he's heading to that. Thank goodness it's soundproof.
Yes. And thank goodness this same Finny, who could not fight off a bully, can rip metal bars out of a concrete wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Luckily. He must have been doing a lot of push-ups down there in between his meals.
Yeah, exactly. So, next spot is Gwen. Gwen is now back in her room.
Yeah.
We flash back to their house, and she's like praying at this point. Like any hope that she has left, she's like, Jesus, if you are real, tell me where my brother is.
Right.
And so therefore she has another dream. She sees all of these dead children.
Yeah.
And she sees the house that they're at now. So she does talk to her dad. She's like, please don't be mad at me. And he really didn't this time, just because, like, I think he was like, I'll do anything to get my kid.
Right. Yeah. I don't really love you, Gwen, but if you can help me get Finny back.
Yeah.
Like, okay. What a good... He's dad of the year right here.
Yes. This is where Max comes into play, because detectives are going around speaking to people in the neighborhood, and Max knows everything about this case.
Yeah, he's that, like...
everything.
He's that... Just kind of that nosy... Not really nosy, but just... He's all in on this abduction case. Like, he's the guy that's got, like, the cork board with a map and push pins, and, like, he's got this. So, and the cops kind of look at each other and leave like he's crazy.
Yeah.
Which blows my mind, because they are openly going to an 8-year-old girl for help. Yeah. And then they see this guy who's a little odd, but literally has the entire case played out.
Yeah.
He wants to be involved. He goes, I have ideas. Here's what I think. And the cops are like, get a load of this guy. You guys are seeking a third grader's help. Like, take any help you can get. It's just...
Yeah, like, he is even pinpointed down to the point where, like, he abducted between this time and this time and wasn't caught, so he lives in this area.
Right, and the cops are like, we'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
We have a preteen to talk to.
Yeah, like, she's going to help us out. So, another night passes to where Finny's still down there. He talks to another victim, Griffin.
Yeah.
Who is now on the phone. And Griffin tells Finny, hey, he's got to sleep at some point.
Right.
And here is the lock numbers, but I don't know the combination.
Right, yeah, because he says there's a combination lock on the front door.
Yes.
I know this because it was my padlock. It was my combination lock on my bike. Here are the numbers. I don't know. Yeah, like you said, I don't know what order, though, because I'm a forgetful ghost.
Yes.
We also find out, in the previous scene, though, like they kind of do the whole pan down thing, and we find out that the police were in the same house because Finny is in Max's basement because Max is living with his brother, like you mentioned. His brother's the grabber. How convenient.
Yeah. Like, how... Yeah.
So Griffin, who doesn't remember the combination order, but does know that the grabber's asleep right now.
And that it's on the wall.
Yeah.
So, of course, Finny heads up, sneaks past the grabber as he is sleeping, and heads to go do the lock. This was a little bit of, like, a heart rush for me.
Oh, yeah, was tense. It was tense.
Oh, my goodness. Make it. Come on.
And he does. He does make it.
I was expecting a jump scare here.
Right.
Like, when it's panning around to, like, Finny's face, I'm like, all right.
The grabber's going to be right there.
In the background.
No.
But he wasn't.
Nope.
He unlocks it, runs out, but the dog wakes up.
Thankfully, though, Finny only had to try, like, 3 times to get that lock open.
Yeah.
But yeah, the dog, I don't even remember the dog's name. It doesn't matter.
I don't either.
But he alerts the grabber. Like, he doesn't, like, tap him on the shoulder or anything. But the dog makes a noise. And the grabber wakes up just as Finny gets that combination open.
Yeah. And is captured.
Yep. And it's kind of a really disappointing scene because Finny does get away. He's making away on foot. The grabber hops in the van, chases him down, and tackles him in someone's front yard loud enough that their porch light comes on in a town where children have been going missing because of an abductor.
But nobody
sticks their heads out. They just turn the porch light on and they're like, yep, nobody at my front porch.
So frustrating. We get back down there as he was knocked out again, re-put down in the basement, and this previous delinquent.
Yeah, he gets another phone call.
Yeah, from Vinny.
Yeah,
Vance. And Finny was frightened of him. I mean, he was probably another bully.
Right, and Vance was like the anti-Robin.
Yeah.
Like, there was one, like, the cutback scene of what Vance was capable of. He's playing, like, pinball, and a kid bumps into the pinball machine as the ball's, like, holding in a spot, and it goes the wrong way, and then Vance just pummels this kid's face. So it's like, I think everybody was afraid of Vance.
Yeah.
But Finny recognizes his voice, and Vance is angry on the phone. He's an angry ghost.
Yeah, he is.
But again, he's a very helpful angry ghost.
Yes, he is.
Because he gives him, like, step 4.
Yeah, and he tells Vinny, go ahead, break through the wall.
Yeah, just do that, because you're strong now.
You can do it. And there is a freezer. Mm-hmm. And if you can get into there, then you can open the freezer to get to the storage room.
Yeah. And even tells him, take the lid off the toilet.
Yeah.
You know, and because if there's one thing porcelain glass is good at, it's destroying concrete.
Yeah.
You could just bash a concrete wall.
He did say, though, however, Vince did say, like, I cost him a fortune in repair. So maybe, because, like, Vince had already tried that.
Yeah.
So maybe
I get the sense that they've all tried.
This was their try before they got caught.
It's almost like every kid that had been abducted before discovered one piece of the escape plan.
Yeah.
And then they all, in the correct order, called Finny on the black phone.
Yep.
Because they knew Finny was the star of the movie, and he needs to be the one to survive.
Yes. And so he's breaking through this, gets there, goes to bust out the freezer, and it is locked.
Oh no.
We're back to square one.
Well, kinda.
Kind of,
because he's got all of these in his back pocket.
Yeah, he does. He just kind of breaks down here. He's like, I feel right here is like where he's kind of giving up hope. Like, all right, this is it.
Right.
And who comes to save the day again?
Robin. Because he's talked to everyone but Robin so far.
Yeah.
So Robin calls and he's just like, hey, keep your chin up. Like, I know that I'm dead and failed, and I was the toughest kid you know. Mm-hmm. But just keep your chin up. You need to learn how to fight back.
Yeah.
And so instead of just leaving these encouraging words, he then proceeds to teach him how to dance. Basically, he basically gives him the Casper slide part 2, as he's like, he doesn't just say, he tells him, take the handle of the phone and pack it with dirt so it's heavy, so you could use it as a weapon, and I'll teach you how to fight with it. But he doesn't just say punch him or whatever. He take 2 steps forward, swing, step back. It's like he literally walks out the electric slide to him. Gives him this line dance on how to survive a hand-to-hand combat with the grabber.
And he's like, faster,
right.
Do it again, do it again. So, I mean, he's getting it now. Flashback to switching scenes, and Gwen now has seen the house. She knows what house they're at. So she's contacting detectives. Things speed up here. Max puts 2 and 2 together. He's like, oh my gosh,
all of
Well-
all of these abductions converge
Yeah.
on the house that I'm in.
Yeah.
He's really good at this.
It's the line that he was doing
Yes.
that gave him,
Yeah.
that extra spark.
Yeah.
He's like, I know where this house is. Like this, he is in the basement. So he rushes to the basement to free him, and he's chopped from behind with an axe.
By his brother. Pops him
Yeah.
right. Because he comes down. Don't
So
worry.
unfortunate.
Don't worry. He's at work. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like, he's at work, my butt. He is
Yeah.
a part-time magician out of his van. He's never at work.
He's at work grabbing more children.
Exactly.
Like,
Don't
that's
worry.
the only thing he's doing.
He's at work. Like, he's not working anywhere.
No.
He's working out. Maybe, because Ethan Hawke's pretty cut in this movie.
Yeah.
But he's at work.
And it was kind of, I don't want to say humorous because it's not, but the grabber's like, you look what you did. You made me kill my brother.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, no.
No.
What?
Nobody made you do that.
No. And so detectives are at the house. They head to the basement.
You know, this scene reminded me a lot of a movie called Silence of the Lambs.
Where they're in the house?
Yeah, because where Max is on his way downstairs to see, Max is our Clarice.
Yes.
And he's going downstairs to find Finny, who is the senator's daughter, while the police are converging on another house, thinking we've got him. So they bust into that house. And all of these scenes, I wonder if Scott Derrickson and Joe Hill have seen Silence of the Lambs.
Probably.
I get a feeling that they have, because
A few times.
It reminded me of like when Clarice goes.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you've seen the movie, but if we might as well talk about a much better movie, where where they intersect, where the FBI are in what they think is James Gumb's house, and Clarice actually shows up and realizes that, I just watched it not too long ago, but yeah, where they're so tense when they bust in the door as he's opening the door, and we find out that Clarice is at the right house, and the FBI is like hundreds of miles away. Yeah, it's a lot. They kind of play it up like that, where the police bust into the house that Gwen has been looking at, only to find out that's not the house.
Yeah, that's the house that she's like standing at, looking at the other.
Right, because she's
road.
riding her bike trying to find the house from her visions, and that's where she sees all the abducted dead kids in the road.
Yes,
and she luckily crashes her bike in front of the house she's been looking for.
And so you think you're gonna get like your happy ending here, but they just find the bodies of the dead kids here. So
well,
they
almost don't even find that.
Yeah.
Like the only beat cop
finally,
is like, they look everywhere except, and then the cop's like, wait a second, we have a basement. And that's where they found the mounds of the dead bodies.
Yeah. And so it's like, man, like that was kind of a bust. Like they're not, whatever.
Right.
And, I mean, Gwen kind of looks, I don't know what to say. She's not reliable at this point.
No,
like we're done trusting her.
she looks like a joke.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that she led them to a house full of dead abducted kids.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like that fail. We're looking for the live one. You just found us the dead ones, you idiot.
And now that Finny was the bad boy because he is the reason that Max died, it's time to end his game.
Right.
So he comes at him with an axe, but Finny does his dance moves.
Well, he ties the dog up first. Like, he brings his dog downstairs.
He's going to make it, he's like, I'm going to make this one slow and painful. And the dog, he's going around. And then he knocks the grabber out. Yeah,
they're going
basically
at it.
Incapacitates him.
Yeah, he swings at Finny and misses. Finny runs down the little hallway but jumps over the pitfall hole that he's dug, to which the grabber, of course, steps in it, breaks his ankle, and then Finny does his fight dance, that he's been
ties
taught.
the phone cord around
Right.
his neck,
And
he's like, "It's time for you to go."
right, yeah, chokes him out, and then puts him on the phone first so that he could hear the other dead kids like harass him, and then snaps his neck. And we know he could do it because Finny has ripped iron bars out of a concrete wall.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
the grabber's lucky he didn't just pull his head clean off.
Yeah, he is.
So, okay, so far the plan has worked because the metal bars were what he pulled out of the wall. That's what he broke his ankle on. The hole that he dug, the cord that he used to strangle him with. Like, all of these things have come to work. Except, what was the point of getting into the freezer?
To distract the dog.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because this is a stand-up like freezer, but it has raw steak in it.
Yeah.
Not frozen steak, because that steak was raw.
Raw. Yeah,
So
it was red.
He distracts. Yeah, he takes this flimsy, thawed-out steak to get the dog away from the door. The dog, you know what? He probably could have just walked past the dog.
Exactly.
That dog didn't appear to care about anything.
His bark was 100% meaner than his bite.
Yeah, so he just tosses that. The dog's like, "We cool now, thanks."
Yeah, head on out, bud.
Yep, and so Finny does. Luckily, he still remembers the combination, and just he walks out the front door. He's in a completely different neighborhood, though, right?
No.
What do you mean, no?
What, like from his sister?
I'm kidding.
Oh, I was like,
I'm
wait,
kidding.
did I miss?
No.
I was like, wait, did I miss
No,
something?
you didn't miss it. You know,
I missed your joke though.
Yeah, conveniently enough, the house that Finny escaped from is directly across the street.
Because he walks out the door and Gwen turns around at the perfect time.
So the twist here is that the grabber he owns real estate. That's the twist. He owns two houses. One that he kills in and one that he buries in. Mm-hmm. That's the only purpose. For this part-time road magician, makes enough money to own two homes in the Denver suburbs.
In a nice neighborhood.
In a decent neighborhood, yeah. So the one thing that strikes me is when the cops come out and they see him, like, wow, that black van was parked right there under the overhang. They know they're looking for a black van. The grabber did not even try to hide his van. It's just parked in this overhang, just sitting there. And they're like, so Gwen, this is the house where they're at. The cops look at the house. There's a house right behind them that looks identical to it with a black van parked there. And they're like, we better investigate. Yeah, these police are idiots.
I feel like almost every scary movie, the police are just useless.
Well, they have to be.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, of course. But it's like, it's painful.
Yeah. I mean, they do. I feel they have to be because if you had an apt police force, then there wouldn't be the crimes being committed.
Exactly.
So,
true. And Dad is like realizing that he was a piece of garbage.
Oh,
he's begging. Back at school, Finny returns and he's like, he's just the coolest kid walking through school. I mean, people are like, that's who killed the grabber?
Well, technically, yes, but he had a lot of help.
Yeah. And gets to talk to his crush.
Mm-hmm. Changes his name to Finn.
Yeah.
Call me Finn.
Yeah.
Like, no, kid, take some time off and process your trauma.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do.
Because you've got a lot at home, what you've been through. Like, you got a lot of trauma.
Like, he brushes... Like, we saw him break down once when the freezer door didn't open, but other than that, Finny's just like, yeah, what did you expect to happen?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Okay.
And
but
that's the movie.
He's back in science lab and gets to, like... He really wasn't even down there that long.
No, he wasn't.
I mean, long enough, but we're talking maybe 2 or 3 days, tops. Yeah. So, he spent most of his time on the phone. Because that's a lot of phone calls that he had in that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good old Finn. Good for you, Finny. Yep, and he's got a girlfriend now, apparently. Yeah, he's going to be super nice to her.
Yeah.
Because all this unprocessed trauma will just float away.
Exactly.
Yep.
Hopefully.
That's the black phone.
Yes, it is.
That's the black phone.
I was told that it had a twist.
Well, yeah, the grabber owns 2 houses.
Yeah.
Twist.
What a twist.
Yeah. Let's grade this thing.
I'm going with a B-. I didn't dislike it. There was some gore in it.
Mm-hmm.
When it showed the kids, what they looked like when they were killed. But like some of the things, it's just like, come on, like this is so obvious.
Yeah.
Why? And it really wasn't like, again, not all horror movies are scary, but it wasn't.
I just don't think you were ready. I think this lives up to its hype as being one of the scariest movies ever made. I just don't think you could process this much terror.
I couldn't.
No, you'll get there though. We'll watch enough horror that you'll be able to look back and be like, I now understand what pure terror looks like.
I am scared now.
And it looks like the black phone. I'm also going to give it a B-. This movie was well made. Yes. I'm going to give Scott Derrickson and his crew a ton of credit. They very well made. Fun to watch. Just pretty. They hit the period stuff well. Like everything looked like, yeah, this is 78. So kudos to that. I wanted Finny to be able to rise up and do this because he actually rose up and did it.
Yeah, like maybe there was should have been like one more step after the phone packing that his friend gave him. Like, let's just have him find the final step or something.
I would have rather him not gotten any of the phone calls and just figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, keep him down there for a longer period of time, and let him actually learn to stand up for himself and win. Because basically the message of this story is, if you're abducted, you're probably a goner unless your sister has psychic dreams and all of the deceased kids that have been abducted before can contact you. And so I just think that it stayed... There's just too much supernatural impact on his survival that, like you said, it was obvious you were never really afraid for Finny because all of the scenes were revolved around him. All of them.
Everyone was there for him.
Even if he wasn't in the scene, like everything Gwen did was about Finny, like everything. Yes. So he wasn't gonna die. No. And I mean, it was fine. Like but there was never really any threat. Well made. And I'm not taking anything away from any actor in this movie. I mean, everybody did a great job. Yes. I just think the source material was weak. It just was too convenient. Yeah. Because at the end, Finny really, the only part he did was listen. Yeah. That's all he did. Was just, okay, these ghosts are telling me what to do. Not once was he freaked out that he's getting phone calls from ghosts.
No. And maybe that can be our educational lesson. Listen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
I'm going a different route for my educational lesson, so I'll let you take this one.
I don't really know that I have one this week because I feel like I've repeated myself over and over, like, again, common sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't, like, why are you walking home after school by yourself when there's someone out?
Yeah, I was going to take basically that same lesson and pinpoint it a little bit more of parents, pay attention to what's going on in town. If there are kids being abducted and kidnapped and they're missing and never found, don't let your kids out. School, don't let your kids out. Like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't care that it was 1978. People weren't stupid in 1978. No. They just, you didn't have to wear seatbelts, and you probably drank out of the hose a lot more than you should have, but you weren't stupid. But in this movie, they're like, well, what did you want us to do? Keep these kids inside?
Exactly.
Well,
like, You want us to pick our kids up from school?
Like, no, I'm not doing that. I'll beat them, but I'm not picking them up.
Yeah. I'm too drunk to pick them up.
Yeah. So you want me to drink and drive?
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
thank you. So, but no, a B- for me as well. I know I'm kind of all over the place, but a B- for me as well. It wasn't a bad movie, and I know
it wasn't.
I know we kind of rip on it a lot here and there, but it was. It's average.
It was one that, like, if someone can't handle super scary things, here's one to watch.
Yeah, it'd be a good starter one.
Yes.
Because the suspense could be there. Mm-hmm. But again, at the end, it's just like, he was safe. He was fine. Yeah. You were never really worried about him. He never got hurt. He was never, I don't know, he was never even really scared.
He was never in real danger.
Right. And that's okay. That is okay. All right. You want to do another movie next week?
Yeah.
Do you want to do a new movie next week?
Okay.
Do you want to do Evil Dead Rises next week?
Yes.
Okay, that's what we're going to do.
Okay.
We're going to watch Evil Dead Rise next week. Your first journey into the Evil Dead universe. Your first journey. You haven't even.
Yeah.
So why not start at the end? So, Evil Dead Rise for next week. It came out video on demand today. So I know it's available. So we'll have to get our hands on it. Even if it's purchasing it VOD. But yeah, we'll be doing that for sure. So next week we will be watching Evil Dead Rise. Social media wise, you can find us on everywhere you go, everywhere except TikTok, because somebody hasn't got that off the ground yet.
I know. Maybe when summer comes around.
Yeah. That's when we have time.
And life is less crazy.
That's true. So, but other than that, you can catch us Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Again, if you're watching it, you're on YouTube. Tell your friends. If you're listening to it, you're on Spotify or whatever platform you get your podcast from, and tell your friends. So, Black Phone into Evil Dead. I'm excited for Evil Dead Rise.
I have seen this picture before, the cover of it. Mm-hmm. Mommy Loves You to Death.
Mm-hmm. Evil Dead Rise for next week. And then we'll work on some of the others, because that franchise has been around a while and is very good. So, all right. Well, for Deducation, I'm Mike.
And I'm Courtney.
And we will see you next week when we cover Evil Dead Rise.
Bye.